Today we're going to do a little bit of review on slam bidding and what kind of tools you need and the questions you need to ask yourself if you think there might be a slam in the offing. Two kinds of slams, obviously, a small slam and a grand slam. Grand slams are truly rare birds, and there's an art to bidding those. They usually involve the counting of tricks, particularly where 7 no trump is concerned. But small slams are not all that big a deal. They come along fairly frequently if you are looking for them, and sometimes you're looking and they're not really there. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is the questions to ask yourself when you're considering whether or not you should venture out beyond that game level. Depends on, of course, whether you are looking for a no trump slam or a suit slam. But in all cases, the first question you have to ask yourself is, do I think there's sufficient strength for slam? And you will be able to tell that by the way your partner has bid. For instance, if you're the responder and your partner opens the bidding and you're sitting there holding a hand worth 17 or 18 points, you're going to start sniffing around. You think there's a possibility that there may be a slam between the two hands. Sometimes it takes even less than that because of distribution, but certainly my partner opens and I have a 17 or 18 pointer, I'm going to be sniffing around to see what he has in terms of a suit or whether we might have a no trump slam. So the first thing is there sufficient strength? If you know pretty much that there is not sufficient strength, then you don't go on any further. That's the first and foremost question you ask yourself. Second question is, and these are questions you're usually asking yourself when you have gotten to the game level and you're thinking about going on. If we think there's sufficient strength for the slam, do we know where we're going to play? Do we have a trump suit agreement or have we agreed no trump? If you have not yet found a fit or decided where you're going to play, then that's the next order of business. Once you have decided where we're going to play, what strain, whether it's a suit or no trump, then the final question you ask yourself is, do we have controls in side suits? That is particularly important in a suit contract, because when you're looking for a suit slam, you're going to be using Blackwood to try to make sure that you're not off 2 cashing aces, for instance. That's what the Blackwood does for you. It does not help you find slams. It keeps you out of bad slams. In other words, a slam that's off 2 cashing aces, or in some cases, it's the ace and king in a side suit. So we have to look at the side suits to make sure that we have controls in all of those. Now, those controls can be either high cards, high honors, or they can be shortness. If you're playing a suit contract, obviously shortness doesn't do a thing for you if you're looking at a no trump slam. So if you're thinking about a no trump slam, your approach is different from the one that you would take if it's a suit contract. No trump bidding is largely a matter of mass. That's because opening no trump bids, no matter what level they are, put your hand in a box, as John Parrish likes to say. It very narrowly defines the point range that your hand contains. It also tells your partner that your hand is balanced or semi-balanced. So when partner opens 1 no trump, depending on what your agreed no trump opening range is, and most of you will be using 15 to 17, and you've defined the strength of your hand within that very narrow range. Responder has a really good idea then of what the limits of your contract are going to be. For instance, he knows if he has 10 points in his hand that you're going to play a game somewhere. It may be no trump, it may be a major suit if you find a fit using stamen or transfers. if he has only 8 or 9 points, he says, well, it depends here on whether my partner's minimum or maximum, whether we play a part score or an invitational level contract, or whether we actually bid to play the game. Responder's hand, you notice, is also very narrowly defined in terms of points. With 0 to 7, he can't bid Stamen or invite no trump. Now, there are forms of Stamen that you can use with fewer than 8 points, but we've not gotten into those yet. And at some point, some of you will want to. But for right now, 8 points is what you need for Stamen. So if you have 0 to 7 points, you're thinking, well, looks like we're going to play one no trump. Remember, though, that you can transfer if you have a 5-card major suit. Transfers can be done with 0 points and should be done. The fewer points you have, the more important it is for you to transfer, because partner's going to have a terrible time making one no trump if you are flat broke. If you have some trumps that he can use, then he can at least get some tricks that way that he wouldn't be able to get in a no trump contract. So responder's the one who makes the choice. Once the no trump bidder opens, then all he does is answer questions, basically, from the responder. And all these questions are based on the no trump bidding ladder for the opener and for the responder. Now, for the opener, notice, look at how narrowly defined these point ranges are here over on the right. 1 grape, 1 blueberry, 1 no trump. That's a 12 to 14 point no trump hand. In other words, a hand that's not strong enough to open one no trump, but is balanced and there's no major suit fit located. Opening 1 no trump, 15 to 17 points. 1 grape, 1 blueberry, 2 no trump shows that hand that's in between 1 no trump and 2 no trump openers. Kind of a no man's land of no trump bidding. That is very precisely defined, 18 or 19 points. The 2 no trump opener is 20 to 21 almost universally among people who play standard American. It's so universal that you don't have to announce that opening. Same way with the no trump overcall. If there's an opening of 1 something on your right and you have a stop in that suit and the right point, you overcall generally with 15 to 18 high card points. That's pretty standard too. So you're not required to announce that one either. A lot of people don't know that, but of course, if your opponents ask you, you should answer. But most everybody will say either 15 to 17 or 15 to 18 for a no trump overcall. Then finally, we have the great big hand that's balanced, a big balanced hand here. Opens 2 clubs with 22 or more high card points. Responder bids 2 diamonds, followed by a 2 no trump rebid by the opener, shows 22 to 24 high card points. With more than that, you go up the no trump ladder even further, but those bids occur so seldom that I didn't put them on here. And I have starred the ones where Stamen and transfers are used. So you can use Stamen and transfers over the 2 no trump rebid on a 2 club opening. You can use them over 2 no trump, and you can use them over 1 no trump. Presumably here, with this one, that's 1 any 2 no trump, the responder bid any 4-card major that he had here, 4 or 5-card major here. So there would be no particular advantage or requirement to need to use Stamen or transfers in that instance with these no trump rebids. So that's why they're not generally used there. Now, the numbers are different for the responder, as you might well imagine, but this is all just a matter of no trump, of addition when you're looking at no trump. When the responder has 0 to 7 high card points and no 5-card major, he just passes and says, good luck, partner. I feel for you. If he has 8 or 9 high card points and there has been no major suit fit found, then he bids 2 no trump to invite his partner to game. He knows if partner has 15, there's not enough for game, but if he has 17, there should be. So he tells his partner something here, and then in this case, the opener is the one who decides because he now knows what the responder has. Same thing here, 10 to 15 high card points. No major suit has been located. 3 no trump is what he bids. Notice these are all going up in 1 and 2 and 3, or 2 and 3 point increments. With 16 or 17 high card points and no major suit fit located, 4 no trump invites partner to slam in no trump, the same way 2 no trump invites him to game. This is not an ace asking bid. Using 4 no trump when you're bidding no trump is similar to saying, well, okay, we've agreed spades as our trump suits. We're going to use 5 spades as the ace asking bid. That's what 4 no trump would be here if you were trying to use it as ace asking. When no trump is the genre, then 4 no trump is quantitative, saying, partner, I have 16 or 17 high card points here. We don't have a major suit fit. So tell me, if you're on 15, pass and let's play 4 no trump. If you're on 16 or 17, we need to give 6 no trump a shot, particularly if you're on 17, we need to, or 16 and good spot cards, honors working together, those kinds of things. The kinds of things you look at when you're evaluating whether to go to accept an invitation to slam are the same ones you look at when you're trying to decide whether to accept an invitation to game. The same kinds of things apply. So if you're the responder and you picked up a hand with 18 to 21 high card points in it, forget about 4 no trump. There's no invitation needed here. We know we have at least 6 no trump, and we might have 7, depending on how many points partner has. In that case, we bid the grand slam force. 5 no trump is absolutely forcing. The opening bidder may not pass. He bids 6 no trump with a minimum and 7 no trump with 16 or 17. And if you pick up a 2 club opener and you see that your partner's opened 1 no trump, just bid 7 no trump. Don't worry about it. These are all adding together the numbers. If you think about it, this is just simple addition. If you know what each bid promises in terms of high card points, then you can determine pretty closely what the partnership has between them. So if you're not sure, if you're sitting on that 16 to 17, or that 18 to 21, or the 8 to 9, you're not sure whether or not you belong in one step up from what you have bid. So toss the ball back to the opener and have him choose. By doing so, you have told him what you have, and he knows exactly what he has, so he is much better suited for placing the contract. If you will remember these numbers for opener and responder, then that's really all you need to think about when you're contemplating a no trump slam. I can count on the fingers of one hand the number of times I have ever used Gerber, because I just use math when I'm looking about a no trump slam. The only time I have ever used Gerber when my partner has opened 1 no trump is when I have a long suit. I want to play in that suit in a slam, and all I care about is how many aces my partner has. That's the only time I ever use Gerber. When I'm contemplating a no trump slam, I use these numbers and add them together and then either issue an invitation or place the contract. Keeps it simple. Keeps it simple. All right. Next question is, well, how does the responder know that these ranges that we've shown on the bidding ladder are adequate? Well, it's important to have a kind of an idea about how many points are required for part scores, game, and slam contracts. I think everybody here this morning knows that you need at least 26 points for a game contract. You learn that early on. 19 to 21 points is generally where you play a part score, because that's the number of combined points in the combined hands that you need to be successful at the 2 level. Now, if you want to play a contract, or you're looking for game, and you're not sure that you have it, and you make a move toward game by bidding at the 3 level or 2 no trump. The invitational level is 2 no trump or 3 of a suit. Then you need 22 to 24 points between the 2 hands, generally, particularly with 2 no trump. 2 no trump generally requires about 23 points in the 2 hands in order to be successful. Anywhere from 25 to 32. That's a very broad range, isn't it? Sometimes this number can be lower if you are looking at the possibility of a suit slam, because distribution will figure into it. But in general, this is the game level. The small slam level is 33 to 36, and 37 or more would be grand slam is what you need, because you're not missing an ace. Now, notice you could be missing a king if you had 37 points. So that's the reason why we say that when you ask for kings following a 4 no trump or an ace asking inquiry of some sort, that you promise that you have all of the key cards or the aces, depending on which form of Blackwood you use. So these ranges are pretty accurate for no trump contracts. Suit contracts are a horse of a different color. I have seen suit slams make on as few as 21 high card points because of extreme distribution, but people don't often get to those slams because it's hard to know exactly what a very distributional hand can be worth. Generally, you think of those in terms of how many tricks you have rather than points.
Hey, Susan.
Yes.
Debbie has a question.
Go right ahead.
Hey, Susan, can we back up just a page? Let's see, it's page 7. The no trump, to the no trump bidding ladder one. I just had a little splitting of the hairs question on that for no trump quantitative bid, because I always, whenever I've used that, I thought I had to bid it immediately. After my partner bid 1 no trump, I always just immediately would bid 4 no trump. But should you go, if you have a 5-card major, should you transfer and do all that first and then bid 4 no trump?
Yes, or if you have a 4-card major, you can go through a statement inquiry also. We'll get to that just a little when we get to our a little further into this. Especially when we get to the lesson I prepared on Texas transfers, I do a lot of talking about how you bid following an investigation for a suit slam, and then how you bid when you're not sure. For instance, when you've used a transfer, you don't know how many cards partner has in that suit, and so you don't know whether the slam is going to be. Possible slam is going to be played in the suit or in no trump, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to that lesson.
Yeah, because if I transfer to hearts, say, so I say 2 diamonds and they say 2 hearts, and then but I really have a quantitative hand, and then I say 4 no trump, I'm afraid my partner is going to think that that's Roman key card ask.
No, this is where you and your partner need to have a chat. In that scenario, that is a quantitative bid, inviting partner to bid a slam. In that particular instance, your partner has 4 choices. If he has 3-card heart support, then he either bids 5 hearts or 6 hearts. If he's minimum, he'll bid 5 hearts. If he's maximum, he'll bid 6 hearts.
Okay.
If he has 2-card support, then he will either pass 4 no trump or he'll bid 6 no trump with a maximum. Depends on number 1, how many cards he has in your suit, and number 2, how many points he has. So that's the situation where the responder kicks the ball back to the opener's court and said, I've told you I have exactly 5 of these. So you make the choice. Now, when we get into talking about Texas transfers, it's a little bit different. So it's, and I promise I'll go into that more when we get to that lesson. This can get a little tangled up if you don't have a very clear picture of exactly what a transfer means and what it shows, and then what 4 no trump shows following a transfer. I've always said when I have brand new students who are learning about Jacoby transfers for the first time, I always tell them, when you have exactly 4 cards in a major suit, your next bid is going to be some number of no trump, depending on how many points you have in your hand.
Right.
So when you have transferred to hearts and then you bid 4 no trump, you're telling your partner, I have exactly 5 hearts and I have a hand with 16 or 17 points in it. Partner, where shall we play this?
Gotcha. Exactly. I understand perfectly now. Okay.
Good. All righty. Let's see. I think were we open? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I can't overemphasize then, based on these numbers, how important it is for you to be pretty accurate in your bidding and be mindful of what you're telling your partner. Bidding is a language, and the more precise that you can be in what you're telling your partner, the better chance you have for having a good outcome, for landing in the right contract. So it's important to remember when you're thinking about slams, what the ranges are for the different categories of hands. I'm going to review these very quickly here. I hope that most all of you know these like you know the back of your head. But just in case you don't, we're going to review it for just a minute. Now, when opener looks at his hand, he places it into one of 3 categories according to how many points there are. A good 11 to a crappy 16 would be considered a minimum opening hand. A good 16 to 18 is a hand that can invite partner to game even when he has shown only a minimum response. And a maximum opening hand is just a step under a 2-club opener. He doesn't have quite enough to insist on game all by himself, but once your partner twitches, then you have enough to force to game. Now then, responders numbers are a little different, obviously, because opener has to have more points than average in order to bid as opener. So when responder has at least 6 points, he needs to bid. Every now and again, I see very experienced players who have a habit of not responding with 6, 7, or even 8 points sometimes. If you've got 6 points in your hand, remember your partner could have this 19 to 21 beauty over here and just needs you to tell him that you have 6 points. One of there are not many things that set me off at the bridge table, but one of them is having a partner who says, well, I didn't like my hand. It's not just your hand that is important here. This is a partnership game. It's what we have between us that matters. So you and partner need to be aware that when you have 6 points in your hand, you need to bid. Now, if you have a good 10 points, in other words, not a quacky 10, honors working together in suits rather than scattered, good spot cards, for instance, then you have enough to invite your partner to game, even though he's shown you a minimum opening hand. Many times when responder uses an invitational bid, the contract ends up in game because the opener has a minimum hand here when he has 14, remember? So a lot of times when partner invites, then I don't need much of an excuse to bid game if I have a 14-point hand and my partner invites me. Now, if the responder has a 13 to 16-point hand, and it depends on the 16. If it's a really good 16 with fitting honors and your partner's side suits and stuff like that, you may have a slam with 16. This is just, some of these bids are cusp bids. So don't take these absolutely literally. I just picked a number to put there. I could say 13 to 15, or 13 to a bad 16 and a good 16 to 17 here, then I would be looking as responder, I would be wondering whether we have a slam. So, and remember, all hands that have 22 or more high card points should be open to clubs. Okay, now then, remember our first question was, do we have sufficient strength? Well, to bid the small slam, we're going to have 33 to 36. Grand slam is not so much about total points, but being able to count 13 tricks. So sometimes your points alone will tell you that you have enough for slam. Say, for instance, your partner opens 2 clubs and you're sitting there looking at 11 or 12 points. You have a pretty good idea that you're going to play a slam somewhere, don't you? Simply because you know that between your 10 or 11 points and partner's 22, that you have the values for a slam. Or here's another example. Your partner opens 1 no trump and you're holding this hand here as south. Notice, this hand has 18 high card points in it. It doesn't matter if partner is on only 15. 18 and 15 is 33. Don't mess around. Don't walk the dog. Notice there's no 4 or 5 card major suit in this hand. Just bid it. The one who knows goes. Remember, if you invite with this hand and partner's on 15, he will pass and you'll miss a slam. So when you know, it's very important just to bid it. Now, some of you may look at this hand and say, oh, but what if my partner doesn't have clubs? Don't I need to bid Gerb or whatever? Remember, think about it this way. Your partner opened with 1 no trump. You have 18. You have at least 33 points between you. Build me a hand that doesn't have one of the top club honors in it. Without that, when the points tell you it's there, don't worry about stuff like this. The odds are very, very high that because you have 33 points between you, that you can make 6 no trump. And you know what? Even if you don't have one of the top 2 club honors, the opponents are going to have to find the club lead to beat you. So in this case, you just take a deep breath and bid it on faith. You know you have enough points. I personally would not ask for aces here. I wouldn't bid Gerber. I have enough points. I just bid it. If I had 1 point fewer, say I had the jack of clubs here, I would just invite by bidding 4 no trump, because then I really do have a potential problem at clubs, because I only have 17 points. And if my partner has 15, look at how balanced this hand is. I cannot develop any tricks through length here with this hand. This is the pancake hand, 4-3-3-3. So if I held this hand that had the jack of clubs in it instead of the queen, I'd bid 4 no trump rather than 6. But since I know we have 33 high card points, I just bid it. And if it happens that the opponents find a killing lead because we didn't have the club stop, oh well. Bidding that way is what works out at least 60% of the time. So the key phrase to remember here is, if you say, well, it depends on da 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 da. If you're counting losers and you say it depends on where the king is, then count it as a loser. If you say it depends on whether my partner is minimum for his bid or maximum for his bid, on whether we have slam, then it's time for you to ask for his input. You don't have enough just to jump straight into slam. When you need a little more input from your partner is when you haul out the 4 no trump, quantitative bid, saying, partner, I have enough that we might have a small slam and no trump if you're on a maximum here. In fact, there's a really good chance that we have a small slam if you're on your maximum. But if you're on your minimum, don't think we have a prayer. So South here is suspicious. He thinks, well, you know, I've got 16 high card points. My partner opened a no trump. If he's on a good 16 with a 5-card suit, or he's on 17, we have a slam. But if he's on 15, we probably don't. 31 points with flat hands seldom produce no trump slams. So 1 no trump, 4 no trump says, partner, please bid 6 no trump if you're on the maximum for your bid, or pass if you're not. This is not an ace asking bid. It can be confusing, but as I said earlier, using 4 no trump as an ace asking bid when no trump is the strain that you're in would be tantamount to using 5 of a major suit as the ace asking bid. We don't use the same suit or the same strain for ace asking because it's too confusing, basically. So remember, 4 no trump when no trump was open is quantitative, not ace asking. Now, once in a very great while, the responder may find himself sitting there thinking, oh, 36 or 37, my partner opened 2 no trump and I have a 1 no trump opening myself here. We're sitting on 36 or 37 points. Well, 4 no trump invites partner to bid 6. So if you think about it, it seems logical that 5 no trump invites partner to bid 7 with a maximum, just as 4 no trump invites partner to bid 6 if he has a maximum. The difference is 5 no trump should never be passed in this situation. 1 no trump, 5 no trump, or 2 no trump, 5 no trump is forcing to at least 6 no trump. This is used when responder knows that there's at least a small slam, but there may be a grand slam. He's just asking partner if he is minimum or maximum. So in this case, if North has a 20-point hand, he bids 6 no trump. If he holds 21, he bids 7. That's the best way to find out whether North's hand is good enough to bid the grand slam, even though you're seriously tempted when you're holding this hand and your partner has opened 2 no trump. You don't want to give up a small slam bonus for a very iffy grand slam. You know, it's fun to bid 7 no trump and make it. It doesn't happen very often, and it isn't fun to be the only one in the room in 7 no trump when only 6 is there and everybody else is in 6 making and you're in 7 down 1. That's a surefire 0 on a hand. Ask me how I know that. So, all right. We've answered the first question. We know we have enough strength to bid slam. So what's the next thing we want to talk about? Well, are we going to play in a suit or are we going to play no trump? And if we're going to play in a suit, do we know which suit? Well, the auction and the way it proceeds is the way you make that decision. So this is your hand and your partner is opener and he opens 1 spade. Now you have certainly enough to bid 2 hearts here. For those of you who play 2 over 1, this is a game force. And you know when your partner opens and you hold this hand that you're going to play at least game. So now 1 spade, 2 hearts. North rebids his spades. What's he telling us there when he rebids spades? He says, number 1, I have a minimum opening hand, and number 2, I have 6 spades. Well, bingo. Now we know we have an 8-card spade fit. We want to investigate a spade slam. This hand has 19 high card points in it and 2 doubletons. Now, obviously, the spade doubleton we're not going to count as anything extra, but it's the ace and king of trumps for partner. So here's another possibility. 1 spade by your partner, 2 hearts by you, 3 hearts by your partner. Saying, oh, we have an 8-card heart fit, partner. What do you think? Well, partner opened. Now we want to investigate a heart slam. So it depends on how the auction goes as to where you're going to play it. And you generally know after 1 or 2 rounds of bidding have been put on the table where you're going to play it, whether you've been able to find a fit in a suit, or you're going to play no trump. So once you have determined that you have an adequate number of points and you know where you're going to play, then the next thing you absolutely have to know is, do we have first or second round control in all the side suits? No sorry side suits here. Now, here's an example. You pick up this hand and your partner opens one heart. Now, for those of you who play Jacoby 2 no trump or splinters, either one of those bids would be appropriate here. Well, there are too many points in it to use the splinters. Splinters take up an awful lot of bidding space, and I would not use a splinter here because I've got too many points and it takes up too much space. I would either bid Jacoby 2 no trump if I played that, or there's nothing wrong with 4 no trump. Notice we don't have 2 fast losers in any of the suits. This hand doesn't have a whole lot of aces in it. So depending on really what your partner tells you about how many aces he has, depends on whether you're going to play the heart slam or not. There's a really good chance that you will. You have 19 high card points and 1 for length, and your partner opened. You have a singleton in your hand as well. So this looks really favorable for a heart slam. Now, if North's hand is just a little bit better, then this is what may happen. This is an example of a possible North hand here and South hand. Now, here's this is the South hand. I'm sorry, this may be a little confusing. This is the South hand right here. These are 2 examples of what North might hold. If North has this hand, notice he has only 1 ace in his hand. He will bid 5 diamonds, and then South signs off in 5 hearts because he knows there are 2 missing aces. But if his hand is a little better than that, he answers 5 hearts, which regardless whether you play Roman key card or straight Blackwood, 5 hearts shows two aces without the queen of trumps, or just 2 aces. Now then, South says, okay, we're missing only 1 ace. So I can bid 6 hearts. So in this instance, there's nothing wrong with jumping to 4 no trump immediately because you know where you're going to play the hand. When your partner opens a heart and you've got 4 card support with this many points, you don't have to think about it. Now, another way that you can find out about whether the partnership holds first or second round controls in all the side suits is by cue bidding. There are 2 times when you shouldn't use Blackwood. Number 1, when you have a void. Number 2, when you have a worthless doubleton in your hand or a worthless tripleton, or even queen third could be considered 2 fast losers. The problem that you have in this instance is that if you're off 2 aces and your partner shows you 1, you don't know which ace he has. So in general, at the bridge table, you don't ask a question if the answer doesn't help you. And in that case, if you're missing 2 aces and you have a bad side suit or you have a void, and partner shows you 1 ace, then you're no better off than you were before. You haven't answered your question that you needed answered, in other words. So when this type of situation exists, then we use cue bidding to show the controls that we do have. Now, aces and voids are first round controls. Kings and singletons are second round controls. Depending on whether the partnership uses American cue bidding or Italian cue bidding, determines which you bid first. If you use Italian cue bidding, you show a first or second round control at any time. With American cue bidding, you show only first round controls that you have, and then you start showing second round controls. it seems obvious. And there's always the temptation with newer players, especially, to count a void in their hands as an ace. Well, the problem with that is your partner may think, oh, we have all the missing aces and kings, and he may haul off and bid 7 no trump. All of a sudden, or 6 no trump even. Having a void means you have control of the suit, but not in the same way that you need controls to bid no trump. So don't ever, ever respond to partner's Blackwood inquiry counting an ace as a void. It's not the same thing. There are ways of showing voids in response to Blackwood, but that's a subject for another day. Now, this may seem obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you're in a small slam, you need first round controls in 3 suits and at least a second round control in the 4th. And when you're in a grand slam, it goes absolutely without saying that you have to have first round control in all suits, all of them. So here's a basic definition of Blackwood. I think all of you probably know this, but I said this was going to be a subject for another day, but here it is, how to respond to Blackwood holding a void. Well, the asker bids 4 no trump. 4 no trump goes beyond game, and it asks the responder how many aces he holds. We're not assuming Roman key card here. This is straight Blackwood. 5 clubs says I either have none or all 4, and it ought to be pretty easy to tell which it is. The first step up, 5 diamonds, says I have 1. The next step up says I have 2, 5 hearts, and the next step after that says I have 3. Now, if you have a void in your hand, and you show a void only if it's a useful void, this means that if your void is in partner's first bid suit, it's probably not useful, so don't show it. You only show a void when you have at least 1 ace as well. If you have a void and no aces, just respond 0. With 1 ace and a void, you jump to the 6th level in the void suit, as long as it's lower than the suit that you have agreed upon as trumps. If you have a void in a suit that is higher ranking than your agreed upon suit, you just jump to the 6th level in your agreed suit. When you have 2 aces and a void, you bid 5 no trump. In other words, when the bidding goes 4 no trump, 5 no trump, I have an even number, and that's nearly always 2, and I have a void somewhere. So let's look at some examples. North opens a club, and here's North's hand right here. South responds a heart. North says 3 hearts. Notice when you look at this hand, it doesn't look like a hand that would jump. But once South bids hearts, all of a sudden this void adds a bunch of points to the North hand. He knows he's going to be the dummy, and I'd be inclined to give myself about 5 points for that void. I have 4 card support for partner. So South says, hey, look at this. I think we have enough for slam. Here's South's hand right here. He has a lovely hand. This hand is 18 points and a singleton spade in it. Definitely enough to be worth considering a slam. So he bids 4 no trump, saying, partner, how many aces do you have? Well, North has at least 1 ace and a void. So he jumps to the 6th level of the void suit. This tells South that, oh, my partner's void in diamonds. That's a serious duplication of values. Doggone. I know he has either the ace of spades or the ace of clubs. That means we're missing one of them. So we only have 6 hearts here, not 7. Notice he has a void. He has at least 1 ace. He jumps to the 6th level of the void suit. Here's another example. This time, the void suit is higher ranking than the agreed upon trump suit. North opens a club again. South bids a heart. North bids 3 hearts once again, and South says, let's investigate this. North jumps immediately to 6 hearts. What in the world does that mean? That means, partner, I have at least 1 ace, and I have a void in a suit higher ranking than the one we have agreed. That can be only spades. There's only 1 suit that's higher ranking than hearts, and that is spades. So South takes that information and he says, oh, he has the ace of clubs and he has a void in the spade suit. I know that because he jumped to the 6th level of the trump suit. This shows me at least 1 ace and a void in the suit higher ranking than our agreed upon trump suit. He knows there's a spade void, so this little loser he has in spades is not a loser after all. And he bids 7 hearts. And notice, there's no way it doesn't make. He can't fall out of that slam. He just absolutely can't. Now, when do you ask for kings? When you have bid for no trump, asking about aces, when is it appropriate to ask for kings? Well, number one, the first thing you want to know is that there is a possibility that you have sufficient strength for the grand. If you don't have sufficient strength for the grand, then don't go asking for kings. There's no point in it. Before you ask for kings, you need to have all 4 aces. Asking for kings promises that you have all 4 aces between you. But as I said, don't go asking for kings just because you have all 4 aces. When you ask for kings, you're interested in bidding a grand slam. If you know, based on the bidding, about what your point range is with your partner, and that you don't have enough for the grand, don't ask for kings. But let's say that you're fishing. You think there might be enough for the grand slam, so you want to ask. So these steps are very similar to the steps that are used in asking for aces. The only difference is when you have all 4 kings, you bid 6 no trump. 6 clubs shows 0 kings. 6 no trump shows all 4. 6 diamonds, 1 king, 6 hearts, 2 kings, 6 spades, 3 kings. So, similar. Once in a while, the opponent, you and your partner will use Blackwood, and you think, uh-oh, I've stepped off the cliff, and we need to stop in 5 no trump here. Based on my partner's answer, I have overestimated our combined strength, and I need to stop in 5 no trump. But if I bid 5 no trump, my partner will think I'm asking for kings, and we just get into the deeper hole. How do I stop in 5 no trump? You bid the cheapest unbid suit. That clearly cannot be to play. Nobody's bid it. It can't be to play. When you do that, then that bid of the previously unbid suit there asks partner to bid 5 no trump, which you can then pass. That's the way that you can stop in 5 no trump if you need to. Do you always remember that? Now, I've known this for years, and when one of my partners used this not very long ago, I could not remember what that bid meant. Needless to say, we got too high and went down. It happens. So we've talked about 4 no trumps being quantitative. Now, when we're bidding no trump, we've talked about Blackwood, straight Blackwood, asking for aces and kings. Well, when is 4 no trump Blackwood? If 4 no trump is not Blackwood when my partner's opened no trump, when is it? Well, 4 no trump is Blackwood when you have agreed on a suit contract. For no trump is Blackwood when you have agreed a suit as trumps. So if and only if there has been a clear agreement on what the trump suit is. What does it mean to agree the trump suit? Sometimes you have agreed because the suit's been bid and raised, and sometimes you have agreed it through inference. So here's an example. North opens a diamond, South bids a heart. Yay, that's what North was hoping he'd bid. He says 2 hearts. For no trump here is very clearly Blackwood because hearts have been set as trumps. This is very clearly a Blackwood bid. Now, in this example, though, hearts have been agreed through inference. South would not jump to 4 no trump from the 1 level if he didn't have heart support. Either that or he's got 8 or 10 diamonds in his hand and all he wants to know is how many aces you have. But in general, this means that hearts are agreed as trumps. Now, this is important if you play Roman key card, Blackwood, because that particular form of Blackwood counts the king of trumps as a key card. Counts the king of trumps the same way that regular Blackwood counts aces. But in general, this is trump suit agreement, and it agrees the last bid suit. So this 4 no trump agrees hearts as trumps. Now, here we have the club suit. If we've got 1 club, 4 no trump, that can't be anything but Blackwood. There have been no other suits bid. 4 clubs would be something else entirely. And that's one of the reasons why it's not a good idea to use Gerber as your ace asking bid when you've agreed a suit. This can be too confusing. Gerber should be reserved for very specific instances of ace asking when no trump is the strain. When there's a suit that's been bid followed by a no trump, clubs is the agreed trump suit here. And North should respond assuming that is the case. Now, here's a horse of a different color. Here we have no agreement on clubs or spades. 1 club by North, 1 spade by South, 1 no trump. I do not have 4 spades with you, partner. I may have 4 hearts or may not, but I don't have 4 spades. 4 no trump here is quantitative. It is not ace asking because you have not agreed on a trump suit. Notice that it's a jump too. Now, here's another example of a quantitative 4 no trump. 1 no trump by North, 2 clubs by South, 2 spades. North says, I have 4 spades, partner. Does that work? South says, miss. We missed, partner. I have 4 hearts, not 4 spades. This is a quantitative raise of no trump, asking partner to bid 6 if he's on a maximum. Spades were not agreed as the trump suit. Now, we have another situation that comes up more and more frequently here. People don't hesitate to interfere in anything anymore. When I first learned to play, if somebody opened 1 no trump, everybody just stood back respectfully and said, have the contract. You've got a big hand here. I wouldn't dare bid over that. That mentality no longer exists. I have seen people interfere over 2 clubs, even interfere over 2 no trump, and interfere in ace asking bids. The reason so many people like to do it is because there are many, many partnerships out there who have no agreement on what to do when that happens. And they know that if they interfere, that they're going to cause them problems, and they have no problem doing that, and they're willing to risk being doubled just because they don't think the opponents are going to want to relinquish their good hand. So we need to have partnership agreement on how we're gonna handle interference in an ace asking sequence by the opponents. The most common systems that are used in this situation are dopey, ropey, and depot. Now, dopey is generally used when the opponents interfere at the 5 level at or below your trump suit. If they interfere at the 5 level above your trump suit, you use depot. And when the opponents double, I don't know why you would double for no trump. Cannot imagine why you would double for no trump. Usually a double of an artificial bid like that is lead directing, but no trump does not give any lead direction. But if somebody happens to do that, saying, partner, think outside the box for your first lead, then you use ropey, which is very similar to dopey. Dopey means double means I have 0, pass means I have 1. Ropey just means redouble means I have 0 and pass I have 1. And these are explained here using dopey. When you double, it says I have 0 aces. And here's an example of a hand that would respond with a double. North and South bid in a very competitive auction here. South decides to bid for no trump, asking for aces, and West says, I don't think so. We found a club suit. I'm interfering. Okay, spades is our agreed upon trump suit. I have 1 ace. So what does he do here? He has 1 ace. He passes to show 1 ace. Pass here by North means I have 1 ace, partner. Partner gets another bid, notice. So this is not a problem. Similar situation here. A diamond, a spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, 4 clubs, 4 no trump, 5 clubs. Now we have 0 aces. So in this instance, North doubles, saying, sorry, partner, no aces. And West may play 5 clubs double, depending on what South thinks. Here we go again. 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, 4 clubs, 4 no trump, 5 clubs. Now we have 2. So the first step up is 5 diamonds, and that shows 2 aces. So North bids 5 diamonds here. And if you're like me, South will have to stop and think, okay, let's see, double 0, passes 1, 5 diamonds is the first step. I'll have to go through the whole thing with my fingers and all to figure out what he has. But you can figure it out if you take a minute to stop and think. So now, sometimes the opponents interfere at a level that is above the level of your trump suit. And that's when you use depot. This stands for double means I have an even number, pass means I have an odd number. Hopefully your partner can figure it out from that. North bids a diamond, South bids a heart. West bids overcalls 1 spade. North bids 2 hearts, and East very rudely bids 4 spades. South says, yeah, 4 no trump, 5 spades. This is above the level of our agreed upon suit. Double means I have an even number. Notice here, North has 2 aces, so he doubles to show an even number. Depot, double, even, pass, odd. When the opponents double 4 no trump, and as I said, I don't know why you would do that except to ask your partner to make an unusual lead. You redouble with 0 aces, pass with 1. First step is 2, second step's 3, third step's 4, like that. Now, the number of times when this comes up is not, I mean, you can count them on the fingers of one hand. But sure as you don't have an agreement, you're going to be sitting there thinking, why didn't we talk about this? Why didn't we talk about this? And even if you did talk about it, you may not remember what you agreed. That's okay. That's okay. Do the best you can. And remember that the opponents may be getting themselves into a peck of trouble, and it might be worth your while to double them if they keep bidding at this level. So I put this last slide in here because I know there is a lot of information in this set of slides.
Yes, and Susan, I've got requests about reviewing these hands using 1430.
Oh, well, okay, I've got another set of slides on, we had 3 or 4 sets on slams.
Yeah,
that has a full glob of slides with 1430 and the various forms of other forms of Roman key card that we can go through. I promised Janet I'd do splinter bids next week, because splinter bids are bids that can be used to find slams when the point count really isn't there. It takes distribution into account. We'll make our way through splinters and Texas transfers, and then we'll cycle back through 1430 if that's agreeable with everybody. There's just a mountain of material to cover here.
Right.
And it gets bigger today, I think. So that's, oh, and for those of you who asked me about puppet stamen, I have a lesson prepared, but I want to do it only 4 people at a time on BBO and a conference call. So if you will remind me who you are by sending me an email, I would appreciate it, and we'll get a time set up.
Okay.
Debbie, I think you were one of them. I can't remember anybody else, though.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah. And Gloria.
Gail,
I want everybody to have time to go get logged on if they want to play in today's 0 to 250 points game that we've got going for the Oklahoma Collective this morning.
Yeah. I know I went through some of this kind of fast, but it was review number 1. And number 2, I'm trying to finish on time. I really am. I like to talk, and sometimes that gets away from me.
We're okay with that, Susan. We're okay with that. But I want them to go play in the game if they want.
Oh, you bet. So does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Susan, this is Ann. I don't understand the difference between the inference on page 20 and the lack of inference on page 21.
Okay. When 4 no trump is bid and it's a jump like this, it is conventional wisdom that agrees the last bid suit. So in other words, here hearts would be the agreed upon trump suit. Well, here definitely, because it's been rebid. Here it is because hearts was the last bid suit. Now, on this particular hand, spades is not agreed. 1 no trump denies 4 spades. So there's no spade fit that's been found and no club fit that has been located. And, if you think that you've got a slam either and you don't have it in a major suit, rather than clubs, you want to look for no trump first. Rebidding 1 no trump denies a fit with responders major suit bid.
Okay, thank you.
So there's no fit there. So that means that 4 no trump is quantitative. Partner, we don't have agreement on a suit, but we might have 6 no trump if you have enough points.
Okay, thank you.
The same thing here with the stamen and the bid of spades. Spades were not set as trumps. This looks like South has 4 hearts here to me. So that 4 no trump is quantitative.
Susan,
Yes.
on slide number 9, you indicated one level was inviting game. So exactly, if you don't play 2 over 1, how do you invite, or game forcing, I'm sorry, game forcing. If you have 13 to 16, how do you invite a game force without?
If you don't play 2 over 1 and you have a game forcing hand, what you have to do is bid a new suit. In other words, no number. If you have a fit with the opener suit, this is a good question, Harv. If you have a fit with opener suit, say for instance, opener bid 1 heart. And if you have 3 hearts in an opening hand, 1 heart, 4 hearts, is a different hand. 1 heart, 4 hearts is a weak freak hand showing 5 card trump support and about 7-ish points. It's a preemptive raise. When you have a good hand like this, in order to differentiate it, you bid a new suit first. You're an unpassed hand. Your bid is absolutely forcing, whether it's at the 1 level or at the 2 level. By bidding a new suit first and then bidding the game in the hand in this agreed upon suit or the suit that your partner opened, you show a true opening hand with at least 3 card support. That's the way you differentiate between, hey, we've got a giant fit here, but not a whole lot of points here. Let's try to steal the contract from the opponents. Remember, when you have few points, but a lot of trumps, you take up bidding space. You crowd the bidding space. You get your elbows in the opponent's face. When you have a good hand, you go more slowly in order to try to find the best contract. Jumping implies that your hand is weak, unless there are 1 or 2 exceptions, but jumping by responder in general always implies a weak hand. Weak jump shift, immediate jump, or a preemptive raise of partner's major suit. These are all weak bids, like 1 heart, 4 hearts. And that works even with an overcall, 1 club, 1 spade, pass 4 spades. I have 5 spades with you, partner. And we may or may not really have this game, but I want to shut the opponents out. I think it's possible that the opening bidder has a great big hand, and I don't want him to be able to give his partner any more information. So he uses the preemptive raise. You do that not necessarily expecting the bid to make, but trying to make life as difficult as possible for the opponent. So if you don't play 2 over 1 and you have to force the bidding, how does the responder force the bidding? By bidding a new suit. Anybody else have questions?
I would like for those of us who'd like to stay late to go over those hands again at 14:30.
In 14:30, okay, let's see if I can find the.
Do we have
No,
time?
I mean the very same hands, but looking
Oh,
at
I'm
that
looking for where
14:30 instead of Blackwood.
Let's see. Oh, this is responding with a void. Okay.
Because our game is at 10:30. You guys can get registered if you want to.
Well, I'm looking for which hands are you referring to, Steve?
All of them.
Okay, all of them. All right, let's see. Look on slide 17.
Okay.
We've got a couple of examples here. If in this first one it's 4 no trump. Oh, this is the with a void. Never mind. Okay, well, here. Slide 20. 4 no trump here. 5 hearts is the same, except if you're playing 14:30 here, hearts is the agreed upon trump suit. So rather than 5 hearts, North's bid would be 5 spades because he has 2 key cards and the queen of trumps. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. This one, same thing. For the answer to 4 no trump here would be 5 spades, 2, same hand. That's why.
I didn't realize you could have that by inference, because I thought when a suitor was just mentioned, and then basically you went to 4 no trump in 14:30, that you were now asking for aces, that it was actually Blackwood.
Yeah, well, it is in this case, because notice we haven't had a previous no trump bid here or here. These are all suits. And so this is going to be either straight Blackwood or Roman key card Blackwood, depending on which variation you play.
Let's stay with 14:30.
Okay. Well, with 14:30, as I said, both of these would be 5 spade responses because you're showing 2 aces and the queen of trumps. For those of you who don't play 14:30, it is a superior method of ace asking because you can find out about the trump king and the trump queen both. Let me see if I can find another one. Here we go. 1 club, 4 no trump, 5 hearts. That's the same response here. All of a sudden, clubs are the agreed upon suit here, and we don't have anything but the ace of clubs. So this response is the same, whether you use straight Blackwood or 1430.
Right.
This one is quantitative because there's been no suit fit found. So no agreement on a trump suit. So 4 no trump here is quantitative. Same thing here. We found no fit in spades. 4 no trump here is quantitative because the spade suit was not set as trumps. Let me see if I can find another one.
See, I always thought, based on when I had the class you taught before, and I thought when you only mentioned suits and had no agreement, and then went to
Except there is the agreement. The conventional wisdom is when there is a suit that's bid and then a jump to 4 no trump that is clearly Blackwood, that it agrees the last bid suit as the trump suit.
See, because I thought in the case of the one up above, number 4, it was because of the fact that the 1 no trump was a limiting bid is what made the 4 no trump quantitative.
Well, that is part of it. The other part of it is it denies a spade fit.
But in the case of number 5,
is ace asking when a trump suit has been agreed. And
in the
one
case of
trump
number,
following the bid of a major suit denies a fit with that major suit. So you are right on both scores. It's a
but in the
limited.
case of number 5, isn't it a situation where there hasn't really been an agreement and that a suits have just been mentioned, and so you're asking for aces?
Yes, no, this indicates a miss. 1 no trump, 2 clubs, 2 spades, 4 no trump says, nope, we don't have agreement here, partner.
So what that means is but I'm saying you don't have a limiting bid in there.
I'm sorry.
Unless is it you're going back to the 1 no trump being the limiting bid in that?
Oh, on number 4, yeah.
On number 5, I'm asking on number 5.
Yeah, number 5, 1 no trump is a limiting bid, yes. And whenever 1 no trump has been opened, when 2 no trump has been opened, or when it's gone 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 no trump, these are all limiting bids. And so when 4 no trump is used here, like with this situation, it is always quantitative.
Thank you. That's what was confusing me.
Yes. Now then, it's a little different with Texas transfers, because when responder shows 6 cards in a suit, knowing that partner always has at least 2, then the situation changes a little bit because there is a known 8-card fit. So it's not always true, but in these kinds of situations, it is. There's nothing that's always true in this game except for the rule of 11.
I thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for stopping by the Oklahoma Collective's YouTube channel. Basically, this channel shows recordings of our free 1-hour bridge lessons for advancing players that we offer every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to join us, send your contact information to the email address shown on the screen, and we'll be happy to send you the link. If you would like to follow our channel and be notified when a new recording is uploaded, just click the Oklahoma Collective button below. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.